Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, I am here. And I know that some of you are like, Larry, where did you go? I know you're wondering. And it wasn't because I was kidnapped. Some of you thought that. It wasn't because I dropped dead. Didn't happen either. It was because my technology decided, no, just no, just no. We're done. We're done here. And I went, but you're not supposed to be done. And my technology said, don't care. We're done. To the point where I had to get new technology. So I was literally off the internet for a couple of days. Somehow I survived. Isn't that crazy? I did survive. So I was literally off the internet for a couple of days. So I apologize. And then on top of that, my little girl's here for the holidays. And then that all came together. And so I basically was kind of like gone from the internet for about 3 or 4 days. So I apologize for that. For those of you who reached out, thank you so much. It's very sweet. I appreciate it. Sadly, I wasn't able to, though, finish what I was trying to achieve last Friday, which was a much more of an AMA. So I will be much more open and lenient to questions and such today. I have a topic I do want to cover, which I think is important. However, I do want to be more open to the Q&A that I did not get to last Friday. And also, we'll be talking about my friend Maj Toure. I wish I was able to give him more attention last week, but again, my just shut off. So I'm going to bring that up also today on top of that. And more interesting news for some of you. If you are a member of either Larry Sharpe or Sharpe Way YouTube, I put a post out for members. If you want to be part of the show tomorrow night at 5 p.m., tomorrow, Wednesday, November 27th, I'll be doing a special. So I'll be picking 3 members to join me on the show here. You'll be popping up in the screen as you see all the time. We're going to have a conversation. Just members having conversation. However, everyone can watch. This is not a members only show. Anyone can watch, can come in, talk, chat, whatever. But the actual guests will not be people that I usually pick. Usually I pick people that I know, or I pick people who have a following or something. I do something like that. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you want to, it is you. So I'll be grabbing 3 people to probably today and tomorrow morning. I'll send you links. You can all jump on board, 3 of you. So it'll be 4 total tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the pre-Turkey Day show. And I know some of you are going, but Larry, it was supposed to be a keto show. It was. But my technology told me no. So I have to push the keto show again. I know some of you are ready to throw turkeys at me. I know. I will give you a keto show. I promise. I will do it. I'm behind like 17. I was on my team this morning. And they're like, you have like 47 shows you have to do. I'm like, I know, I'll do them. I do. I didn't expect this to happen. So I will be doing them over the course. I'm going to try. I made this promise to my team this morning. I'm going to try to do like 18 shows in a row coming up here. Like after this week, I'm going to try to do like 18 or so in a row straight. I will pick up a bunch. I'll grab all the ones I owe you all. So I will get those shows going. I promise you. I have a bunch of them I'm going to do. I will do them. I know I'm yapping today because I got to catch up all the stuff that I was supposed to talk about. So yes, all that will be happening. And again, you know the show's going to be good. So why aren't you already pressing the button known as L-I-K-E? Yes, in English, L-I-K-E. That's the button. Click that damn thing. Why not? Because you hate me? I'm sitting here after my technology just blew me totally off. Bought new technology, got it all in now. See? My sound's better too, isn't it? Some of you are like, hey, your sound's good. Sound is better too. See, it works when you do this. So yes, we are working on that piece. It is important. We are here. So yes. Anyway, please click the button known as like. If you want to help me out, you can please share this back and forth. If you have not subscribed, as I tell you all the time, subscribers, literally YouTube decides to unsubscribe you. They decide that you are a bot and unsubscribe you. If you haven't subscribed, you're not sure, check, make sure you're subscribed. I hope you are. Please do so. If you haven't clicked that button that says, hey, make sure that, I get his stuff, notifications. Do that too. If you want to super chat me, always happy. And membership. If you want to be on tomorrow's show, and I'll be doing this at least once a month. You want to be able to come on a show? Got to be a member. You want to be able to come on a show? $49 per month. Get you that join button. You can come on the show. and yap if you want to, whatever you like. So I hope all that will work. Lastly, please watch this for only 1 minute, and then it's over. 1 minute.
There's been an abundance of interesting things, to say the least, over the last couple of years, and I wouldn't change it. When we started with BGM, it was very important to make sure that we linked with people from different cities to make sure that the work got done of firearm safety and training. So we wanted to have Philadelphia be a flagship location where people can come, they know they can learn. We made this center. They want to use the space for free, they can. If someone wants to come learn that class, plumbing, lobotomy, whatever, they get to come take informative classes for free. Now let's show a social and cultural benefit, and then let's do that in a different city. So we used Philadelphia, which was the first Black Lives Matter location, and now the Solutionary Center, that's the HQ, and we would like to see those in all of these top 10 major cities. We've gotten people jobs, literally. People have hit us back and emailed that, I secured a job, $40,000, $50,000 a year. And it doesn't even have to just be employment. It's as simple as, hey, I want to take a yoga class. But that's what a community center is supposed to be. Fundraising has been, it's that last 30 minutes of the drive. This last $200,000 has been very, very difficult. Hey, we need 2,000 people, donate $100.
And I ask you that because Maj is a personal friend of mine, and we talk often about community, and he is actually creating community. If you can assist him, he has a matching donor who will match to get him to his last $150,000. He's a matching donor. If we can help out, I'm trying to help out. I will also match, not that amount, but I will match some. I'll match also. If you can, head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary. If you can, please do that. Throw him a couple bucks. And most importantly, when you do it, please put in there, Larry sent me. That's how I know I have to match. So if you want me to pay, you got to put that so I know how to match. So I got to start matching some of that. So go ahead, click there if you can. $10 is great. $100 is great. $50 is great. $200, whatever you can swing. I know I'm usually bugging you guys for money for me. I usually am. It's true. In this time, I'm not. Tonight, I'm bugging it for him. If you help him out at the Solutionary Center, this is an actual center that helps people to get jobs, learns about the community, and it's in the city. Liberty in urban areas is struggling. If you can do that, I would please, it would help. Givesendgo.com/solutionary. In the memo, Larry sent me. Every bit does count. All right. I covered that piece. I covered many pieces. Now the piece I want to really talk about today, if I could. And that is, there's a saying that some of you may have remembered. You know what? Let me go back to where I was on Friday. There was a part about this Ukraine-Russia war that really bothered me. And that is, now people believe, many people believe, that Trump is going to try to end this war, which I think is true. I think he's going to try to end this war. And he may end it next year. I think the odds are high that he will end this war. I think the odds are high he'll end it next year. People know this. So what are they doing? This is the end of World War I all over again. And I'm going to bring this up in two different ways. Number one, when they saw that it was going to fail, that it was going to end, so many people, particularly the generals, said, we have to fight extra hard now. I'm going to say it again. The war was over. They were negotiating the end of the time. For those who don't remember, it was, if you remember, it was the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. That's when it would end, which is where we get November 11th as Veterans Day from, right? 11th hour, 11th day of the 11th month. That will be the armistice. We'd stop for the ceasefire ends. So you think, okay, great. I'm a soldier in a trench. We've ended the war. Awesome. I can just sit back and relax and wait till the 11th at 11 o'clock. Now we're going to attack. We're going to attack left and right. We're all going to attack as hard as we possibly can. We're going to throw ourselves into this because we want to make sure we get as much land, as much upper hand for the negotiations. That's what happened in World War I. And literally tens of thousands of people died for nothing. Excuse me. For nothing. Didn't change anything. It was still horrible. Nothing but bad. I think now you're seeing that in Ukraine right now. Ukrainians making attacks, Russians making attacks, but even worse, I think you're finding people on both sides trying to make it to where negotiations are harder. There are rumors now that the French and British want to send troops into Ukraine. Can you imagine that? We've already allowed the Ukrainians to now bomb into Russia. Russia's now using ICBMs. They're making things worse when we're on the cusp of ending this war. This is the part that drives me crazy. And the people who are suffering aren't the leaders. The leaders are fine with it. Oh, yeah, give more stuff. Send more guys. Do more stuff. They're fine. It's the average Ukrainian soldier, the average Russian soldier who doesn't even understand why they're even fighting. They don't. I mean, most of them don't know like what they think they're fighting for their good cause. They believe it, but they're actually not. They're fighting because some leaders someplace want to get something extra at the end of the day now. Right now, maybe they fought for a good reason in the beginning. I don't really know. That isn't my issue. I don't really care. What I care about now is now they know it's over. They know it's over. Ukraine's not going to retake all the land. Russia's not going to take over Ukraine. These two things are not going to happen. There's going to be some form of ceasefire with Russia getting some form of amount of land, whatever that agreement is, and Ukraine's not getting all their land back, whatever that agreement is. And no matter what, literally tens of thousands of more people are going to die now in the coming months. And whatever that deal is going to be, it's not going to change. That's the worst part. More people bombing, more people doing it. That's the part that bothers me more than anything. It's not like, oh, let's fight hard because now we'll win the war. Or now let's go fight hard because now we'll stop the Russians. Or now we'll take over Kiev or whatever is your goal. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That part drives me crazy. Jared, thank you for being a member. Brings up a very valid point. As I just said, it's a bit like the end of World War I on the Western Front, with soldiers fighting to the very last minute, even though they knew it was ending. Yes. Fighting to the last minute. Why? It's over. You're dying. You're killing for nothing. It doesn't make any sense, and we're doing it now. But I'll go back to another piece, which is right before World War II began. There was a saying by a Frenchman. He said, translated to English, who will die for Danzig? And if you guys know your history, Danzig was a city that now is in Poland, but was in Germany at the time, in a place called East Prussia. And after World War I, the terrible way they broke up Germany was horribly, stupidly done. I mean, insanely dumb, the way they did it in World War after World War I. That they wanted to unite back to the old Germany. Of course you would if you were German. Of course you would. So they threatened. The Germans threatened. We want our land back. We want to go and take it. This is one of the reasons why. Andrew, yes, thank you. Coined by Marcel Diat. Thank you so much for that. That is correct. That's accurate. He did not want to fight at all. He did not want to fight the Germans. He did not want to fight World War II at all. Come to find out, he was probably right. If you're French, he did not want it at all. So he's like, who's going to die for Danzig? It's a German city. Let the Germans have it. Why are we fighting for it? That was his logic, right? Now, did it work? No. We found out who would die for Danzig. Tens of millions of Americans, not Americans, of people, including Americans, Russians, Germans, French, British, Poles, Jews. Lots of them want to die. Tens of millions of them would die. Tens of millions would die for Danzig. And will the Germans get Danzig in the end? No, it's now in Poland. They died for nothing. Danzig is in Poland now. Germans never got it back. That's a place used to be called East Prussia. Those days don't exist anymore. Gone. So we should be asking ourselves, who is going to die for Eastern Ukraine? Who will die for Eastern Ukraine? Who will die for Zaporizhia? Who will die for Donetsk? Who will die for that? My worry is, here is my concern, that a similar thing that happened in World War II will happen here. And that is, for those who don't know, when the Germans invaded Poland, people won't tell you this, the Russians also invaded Poland. Poland was invaded by two countries at the same time. No one told about Russia. We didn't say anything. Because we didn't care if the Russians invaded Poland. We didn't care. They did. In fact, the Russians also invaded the Balkan states. They took over, not the Baltic states, sorry. Estonia, Latvia, took over all of them. All came in. The Russians took over that. The Russians went to war against Finland. We didn't say a word. Mouth shut. Didn't say a word. But when the Germans invaded Poland, that's when the French and the British said, we're going to war over this. We are going to war over Danzig. America wasn't involved. Russia was not involved in that war at the time. Yet tens of millions of people eventually died for it. If the British and the French, again, move in because they want to die for Zaporizhia or Donetsk or whatever you pick, Kherson, Will X years later, will Americans be doing the same thing? We'll be in. Will more Russians die? Will Poles move in? Will this turn into something horrible? I hope not. I hope not. So Dave says East Prussia is part of Kaliningrad. Yes, it's part of it is, but part of it's in Poland. You're right. East Prussia is large. Part of it's in Kaliningrad. That's Krut, which is Russia. Part of it's in Poland. Accurate statement. Yes, both are. So yes. So I worry about that. This is why I think this war could be a problem for us at the end. At the end, when they see it ready to end, they don't want it to end. They want to keep going. This is my biggest concern. That all of a sudden we're now going to have French. Because here's the next part. What happens if we have French and British troops in Ukraine? What if that happens? Either one, French and British troops. Well, those are NATO members. If French soldiers start fighting Russian soldiers, don't Russians have the right to fight back into France? Kill French soldiers or kill Britain? Don't they have to? If they're fighting them, you have to, right? They're going to fight. And when they start fighting each other, what happens if the Russians decide to attack French naval units or British naval units? Is that an attack on NATO now, even though they started it? Do we all have to jump in now? Is that what happens? Think about how terrible this is. Right? This is not a good thing at all, and it bothers me, and it's going to affect it because it will draw us in to a war that should be ending. This war should be ending. Whether you think it's the Russians' fault or the Ukrainians' fault, I don't care. And you can be mad at me and call me a Putin puppet or whatever. I don't care what you think. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Call me whatever you want. The war should end. People should stop dying. People should stop being killed. And right now, Ukrainians are losing right now. And let's assume that the Germans, not the Germans, they're not going to rush in. Sorry, Germans they don't have much military anyway. The French Russian or the British Russian, and they start beating the Russians. That's what happens. Okay, great. So then the Russians are going to give up? No, they're going to fight back even harder. Of course they are. So more people are going to die. For what? It's terribly horrible. Anyway, I've yapped away probably far too much than I should have freaking yapped. But that's my worry about this. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's going to help at all. Let me, if I could, I'm going to have to grab a couple of comments. You guys have so many comments. I want to go through some of these if I could. Number one, Vivek, how are you? Larry, talk today about Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire as well. What does this mean? Russia-Ukraine will be ending soon. All right, they are connected, but reverse. I think they're going to be more open. The Israelis will be more open to a ceasefire if they think the Ukraine-Russia war is going to end in a ceasefire also. They'll be more open to it. Okay, why? The reason is, once the war in Ukraine ends, whenever that happens, there are going to be tens of thousands on both the Russian and Ukrainian side of soldiers who are trained, battle-trained and bloodied, know how to use drone warfare, know how to use trench warfare, know how to fight, who are now going to be in the open market as mercenaries. And they go away. They're going to go home. Many will. But I can go home to a broken Ukraine where I may get a job, I may not. Who knows? A broken country. Or I can have the Iranians pay me $3,000 or $4,000 a month to go fight in Lebanon or something, right? Or wherever. Or I can train them, whatever. Why do you think there are 10,000 North Koreans fighting in Russia right now? Because they're bored? No. They're going to blood those troops. Many of them will die. Many of them won't. They'll be bloodied. They will come back to North Korea, and they will all be now non-commissioned officers in the North Korean army. And now they have bloody non-commissioned officers who know how to fight. Some of them will take off also and be sent to places like Lebanon or Syria or wherever so that they can also learn how to fight. That's what's going to happen. And they'll get paid. So right now, it's all done in Ukraine. Once that war ends, where are they going to go? Well, one place they'll go is probably West Africa. A lot of fighting to be done in West Africa. Tons of it to be done in West Africa. Mostly against separatists within their own countries. But also in the Middle East. So Israel, the last thing Israel wants is all of a sudden the Hezbollah to all of a sudden be buffered by 10,000 Russians or whatever is the number. And worse, all those drones. There are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of drones flying all around Ukraine and Russia right now. Thousands and thousands of them. Well, once the war ends, what happens? They gotta go somewhere. All those drones, they drop bombs, they blow stuff up, they blow up tanks, They blow up fighting vehicles, doing it all day long. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to be in the Middle East. Israel does not want that. I wouldn't have Israel either. Plus, Israel wants a ceasefire. I told you all Israel had to rush to make this happen. I told you this months ago. Vivek, you remember, I said it months ago. Israel, and you may not like Israel. I'm not taking a side on this. I'm saying if you're Israel and you want a buffer zone, you had to rush it for two reasons. Number one, make sure you do it before the Russia-Ukraine war ends. You've got to push forward. There's no logical way around it if that's what you want. And that's what they want, a buffer zone. So you have to attack. Second, Israel is a reserve army, which means it has to mobilize its people. There's only, 8-9 million Jews in Israel? Not that many, right? So you've got to mobilize 300,000 of them to actually go fight. Well, when they're fighting, they're not working in Israel. These are 300,000 people who aren't working in Israel. They aren't making money, paying taxes, doing stuff. You can't keep that up that long. You just can't. Now, the vast majority of the Russian army, they're a lot of them conscripts. They're not doing much anyway, so they're not losing much in their workforce for them. So they can have it. We have a standing army. America has a standing army. That's part of our economy, right? So our standing army, if they're not working in the economy, well, it doesn't end for us. Israel, big deal. So they had to rush this, which is why Israel will take that ceasefire. Why? Israel was very effective, more effective than I thought they'd be. To tell you the truth, I thought they'd be less effective than they were. They are more effective than I thought they were going to be in Lebanon. They've achieved what they want to achieve. Let's get a ceasefire done. Smart move. If I'm Israel, I'm agreeing to this. Of course I would. Hezbollah's in trouble too. Agree to it. And that's why they agree to it. Now, do I think this is a permanent ceasefire? No, I don't. I don't know. But if they can get some French forces there, which they're supposed to do, that kind of stuff, and Israel can go back and get its people back into its economy and get itself up and running again, if I'm Israel, I'll do the same thing. I'm just saying, I do the same thing if I was them. I know some of you don't like Israel. I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying what makes the most sense. It's a smart move for Israel to do it, go back into their economy, rock and roll again, bring down the tension with Iran. They don't want to actually have an actual war with Iran, I don't think, anymore. I hope that, because they know Trump, I don't think, wants a war with Iran either. So I think they want to stop it. So this is all going to, again, Trump coming aboard, people think the war is going to start ending. They want the best they can before the war ends. This is why they didn't want to stop this. And I'm not mad at it. The war's ending. I'm not mad. I hope I answered your question. So, yes. Shelley asks, the Ukraine war will haunt us forever, far beyond 2025. We're the muscle for the playground bullies of the world, and not one of us asked for this. Wow. Shelley. Very good. You're right. We didn't ask for it. We didn't. And we still got it. Yes. Yeah. Dave says, it ends with 1, Putin getting everything he wants, and Zelensky being handed over to Putin, and Zelensky ending up dead. Putin get everything or 2, Putin get everything he wants, and ends up living in Europe. I think what happens is Putin doesn't get everything he wants. He does not. I don't think so. I don't think Trump will accept that as true. It's going to be, and I mentioned this literally months ago. It'll be a deal where Putin can say he won, but there will be things that Trump wants, because Trump has to say he won too. Dave, Trump's not going to do any deal where he doesn't say he won. So it will be a deal that looks like, right, both of them won. They can both go home and go, see, I won. It'll be that. Zelensky's coming to America. He's a hero over here. Look him over here. He's gonna live here. He already has land in Florida. I'm not joking. He already has land in Florida. He'll be here in Florida. He'll live in Florida. So yeah, it'll end that way. Russia will get enough that Putin can say he won, whatever that amount is. Trump will get something so that he can say he won. Both will say they won. And then Zelensky goes to Florida. That's how it actually ends. And it's horrible that I'm saying this so nonchalantly. Meanwhile, literally, as I'm speaking, people are probably losing arms and legs and getting blown up. For what? So this can happen. And I said this last year. I spoke about this. So everyone who died in this last year has changed nothing. When will we ever learn? Dave, we don't. We don't. Peace. Thank you for the $1.99. I appreciate the super chat. He subscribed to Larry. Hit that button. Yes, subscribe to me. You're right. Subscribe. Hit that like button. It does matter, guys. Subscribe, notification, like. These things matter, right? The more this happens, the more people see me. The more people see us, the more this keeps working. So please keep going. Yes. Daniel, thank you for being a member. It was the lizard people. That'd be nice. But they didn't get me, though. They did not. They did not get me. So yes. P says Larry's alive. It's true. I am around. They didn't get me. They did not get me at all. So yes. All righty. All right. Gene says, Grüß Gott. Oh, thank you. I just finished watching your earlier show. I loved it. Shared and commented. Oh, thank you. Every little one that counts. Everyone does matter. Thank you so much. Yes. All righty. Pinkerbell says, taking a days-long internet break is so good for you, just in general. It's a valid point. I realize that I don't drop dead if I'm not online every minute of my life. It's true. I won't. You can actually still survive without being online 24/7. It's true. Yes. Peace asks, how do we know if it's really Larry, artificial intelligence? Huh. Good point. How would you know it's me? Question is, could artificial intelligence, could it respond as well as I respond to each one of these? If true, oh my God. Oh my God. So if I'm that good of then yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah. So by the way, click the button known as like, just to make sure I put that under. Don't stop. Yes. All right. Yeah, kind of weird. Mad. Oh yeah. Mad Nomad, you remember I discussed Putin getting dollars and Zelensky getting home in Florida. Yes. I don't know if Putin gets the dollars. That's something he won't get what he wants. What Putin wants, I don't know if you guys know this, he's already said it. He wants reparations. Some of you just fell out of a chair. I'm not joking. Yes. He invaded and he wants reparations. I'm not joking. He's like, yep, I'm invading and you're going to pay me for my invasion. So that's my point, Dave. I don't think he's getting reparations. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I don't think he's getting them. So he's not getting that. But he's already started. He said, yeah, I'll stop, pay me reparations. He's already said that. He goes, I'll stop tomorrow, pay me reparations. And we're like, no, you're not getting any. So he's not getting everything he wants. I don't see that at all. I do not see that at all. So we'll see. All righty. Let's see here. Vivek says to sort the topics, you should do a members poll. Oh, maybe I will. It's not a bad idea, Vivek. Maybe I'll do that. I like that. Yes. Joel says, I'm beginning to doubt you will even do the interpretive dance episode show. We'll set up for the keto. Did I say I was an interpretive dance? No. I never said that. I'm not doing that. No. I said I was doing, hold on. It wasn't interpretive dance. I said I was doing contextual language. That is what I said. Not interpretive dance. You got them confused, Joel. Not that. It is contextual language. And I'd actually do a class on that, believe it or not. I do a class on contextual language. When you're going from one culture to another, different cultures and how you're speaking. So yes, I will actually do a class. I'll do an entire show on that too. I will. Not interpretive dance. Not that. It's not, yeah, exactly. So there we go. Thomas says, but Larry Turkey's keto. Okay. My daughter is also keto and she likes to cook. So we literally do a full keto Thanksgiving. Everything. We make keto potatoes, which is cauliflower. We do keto pies, which is zucchini with coloring flavor. We do all those things. So yes, we do the entire thing. Absolutely. So we do a full keto, cranberry sauce, everything. Keto from start to finish, 100%. We do all of it, 100%. Yes. Andrew says, either way, there's going to be someone not very happy about the outcome of the war. 100%. You are absolutely correct, Andrew. And this is the worst part. What happens to all the people who've been hurt and harmed in this war? Right? All the people who've been hurt and harmed. Hundreds of thousands have been either killed and or wounded. Yeah, it's crazy. So Vivek says the deal should be land in Ukraine for any military ties with China and starting to have better economic ties with the West. I mean, for Russia? Yeah, I don't know that's going to happen, but yeah, you know what, Vivek? Maybe. That could be the win that Trump gets, right? The win that Trump gets is maybe they don't do a deal officially with China or something like that. I could see that. Or maybe they agree to not be involved with Iran or something. That's the kind of thing that I'm saying Trump can say he won, right? There'll be something like that where Russia will agree, oh, we're not going to, help Iran if they attack Israel or something like that. So Russia will make some kind of agreement. We won't do this thing, whatever the thing is. Trump will claim victory. Putin will get enough things where he goes back home and says he won. So the big boys are going to say they won. The people going to lose are going to be Ukrainian people. They've already lost this war, right? And again, we screwed them over. And that was going to happen either way. So yes. Thomas says, I've donated several times, but that's Tommy the Trucker and Libertarian Mafia to Maj Toure and the Solutionary Center. Thank you so much. Every bit counts. Guys, last time I'll bring it up. If you want to help out Maj, I would appreciate it. I know I always bug you, but I'm usually bugging you for me. Now I'm bugging you for him. He has someone, in case you don't know, he's trying to buy the Solutionary Center. He's been renting it. He wants to buy it. He has someone donor who is going to match him for his last $150,000 that he needs to buy the building. He needs to raise a 75. The other guy will match him 75 if you do it. I'm trying to do my part. I will help match what we do. So if we can do something, please, as you see there, if you can head over to givesendgo.com/solutionary, and in the memo put Larry sent me. Whatever you can give is great. $5 is wonderful. You can give $20. If you're in a spot where you can give 200, 300, please do so. If you're in that kind of spot, if you're not, 10, $20 is fine, whatever. Every little bit counts. The closer we get to 75K, what we're doing, and others, I'm the only guy doing this. There are other people also doing this too. But if the more of us who do it, the closer we get, the more chance we have to where he can actually buy this building. And this is an actual community center, liberty-based in Philadelphia. It is an urban place where libertarians struggle to get in. One of the reasons why I love Maj, he's a personal friend of mine, but one of the reasons why I personally support him so much in this regard is because he's doing the work of liberty in areas where libertarians struggle to get in. And he does not struggle. He does very well in these areas. We got to help him out. So if you can, please help him out. givesendgo.com/solutionary. In the memo, put Larry sent me. Whatever you can do is great. I know I'm usually bugging you for money. I'm not bugging you this time for me. I'm bugging you for him. So if you can, please do so. It will be great. Thank you so much if you could do it. It does make things better if we can get more people to support shows and things like what he's doing. So, all right, let me keep grabbing some more if I can. All righty. Let's see here. I want to grab a couple more if I could. Are people asking? Instead of, are you asking if you asking people voted for Jill Stein? Are you asking me if I voted for Jill Stein? I'm not sure who you're asking. Is that for me? If it is, put at Larry. If you're asking me, I'm happy to answer any question you have. If it's for me, I don't know if it's me or not. So yes. All right. See if I can grab this again, if I could. All righty. Mike says, Larry, I commented on being in the panel. Oh, great. I will check it all. I will check them all tonight and tomorrow morning, and I will let people know. Dave says East Prussia bought it. Yes, we know that it is. Yes, but I'm pretty sure East Prussia, chunks of it now are in Poland, and chunks of it now are officially in Russia, officially, right? Because Kaliningrad is still part of Russia, which seems kind of silly, but it is. So yeah, I do think it's parts of it are in both countries. I believe that's true. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. I'm not. I think I'm right. I think I'm right. Hold on, it's fine. You guys check it out. So yes. So anyway, let me go through. I'm looking at Rumble right now, and that Liberty Lady is on. Thank you so much for being on Rumble. Yes. She says, I'm looking forward to helping you grow your Rumble account and help with your Rumble moderation over here. Yes, we're going to start growing Rumble slowly but surely. We will start growing Rumble also. YouTube right now and also Rumble too. We'll be over there. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Gene says, if you're the libertarian Trump puts in the cabinet, you could keep this terrible thing from happening. First off, I don't think Trump's putting in his cabinet, but thank you for that, Gene. And I don't think if I was in his cabinet, I have that much power to stop that. I wish I could. I don't think. Yeah, absolutely. Lorenzo says, yeah, Russians have a right. But then again, Russians are tricking people from third world countries to be cannon fodder in Ukraine-Russian war. I'm not sure they're tricking. And this is my point, Lorenzo. I think these people want this. Now, I know this may sound crazy. I know, but hear me out, Lorenzo, before you judge me on this one. If you're a general in any large military now, this is a kind of war no one else has fought. You might go, well, yeah, we fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's not this kind of war. That's against insurgents. That is basically, city to city insurgent fighting. It's a whole different type. This is actual trench warfare, drone warfare, armored warfare, tank warfare in a modern battlefield. And we thought it was going to be World War III, and it's kind of World War I. And knowing how to make this work is super valuable. If I'm North Korean general, I can't wait to send my troops in. That may sound horrible, but I can't wait because I want the non-commissioned officer corps that understands how to do this, that knows how to send men into battle, that knows what weapons to use, that knows what weapons don't work, who knows what tactics don't work, right? In today's modern battlefield, that's not afraid to go to war. And some of these people I will make officers. Some of these people will become eventually generals and eventually in my military, right? So I need them to be in this thing. So I think if I'm one of these generals, I can't wait to send my troops in. I couldn't wait. Of course. I mean, think about the people right now, the Russians right now who are fighting in West Africa, who replaced the French, by the way. The French are gone. They threw the French out. These were all the people in the Wagner group who fought in Bakhmut. They all fought there, all bloodied. Now they're sitting in Africa. They're not scared of war. I'd want those guys. So I don't think they're being tricked. I think if I'm the Chechen leader, I'm happy to send my guys there. If I got to fight a war against Armenia, I got to fight a war against Turkey or something, I can't wait to have my troops into that stuff. Turks don't have any of that. Turks don't know how to fight these kind of wars. They don't know. So I don't think they're being tricked. I think these leaders are voluntarily putting their troops in there. Voluntarily. I think no one's being tricked. That's just my view. I hope that makes sense, at least what I'm saying. I hope you at least get what I'm going at with that. So yes. All right, and grab a couple more of these if I can. All right. So many of these, I do appreciate it. All right, Dave says, or North Korea will use those combat-hardened troops to invade South Korea. I don't think so. However, you have a valid point. What I think this does is it gives North Korea more bargaining power. That makes sense, Dave, right? So now North Korea has the bomb, number one. Two, it has a larger military. Three, it has a bloody military. If I'm the North Koreans, I got lots more bargaining power. So when I say I don't want this or I want that, or I got bargaining power. So I could be an invasion. I'm not saying it couldn't, but I don't see an invasion, to your point, unless we get dumb enough to get sucked into the Ukraine war. Now, some people will say, oh, well, just if they're going to, they'll wait till the war's over, then they'll no, the reverse. If this war keeps going, if Trump can't stop it, if Trump actually fails, Dave, if Trump fails in stopping this war and it keeps going, it's another year, and the French and the British are so insanely backward and stupid, they actually put their troops on this in there, the Russians will purposely destroy French and Russian and British troops. I would. I'm just, if I'm the Russians, I am purposely devastating French and British troops. If I'm the Russians, I don't mean to be cruel, but I'm purposely destroying them. I'm going out of my way to annihilate them. That's what I'd be doing. And I know it sounds horrible. That's what I'd be doing. Right? It's what the Vietnamese did to us to get us out. That's what I'd be doing. So now I got a bunch of French, and now I got literally hundreds, if not thousands, of French and British troops going home in body bags and boxes without arms and legs. Is that going to bring America in? If America moves in, if we're that stupid and that short-sighted and we actually move into this war, who will die for Danzig? Who will die for Zaporizhia? It will be us. We'll go in. At that point, the Koreans can invade. At that point, Koreans can invade. What are we going to do? Fight two-front war? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to fight two-front war? We can't do the stuff we're doing now. We're already broke. The massive war that will happen in Ukraine. If we actually, I hope this never happens, Dave. I hope you are wrong, and I hope this never happens. But if we're dumb enough, if Trump can't stop this war, and we are dumb enough to put U.S. soldiers in Ukraine and fight Russians, if we're that dumb, it will be an official alliance. They're already there. It's called the Axis of Disevil. It is Iran, North Korea, Russia, and China. When that happens, China can support directly North Korea, as it did in the first Korean War, and all those battle-hardened troops, to your point, heading to South Korea. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? We're going to start dropping the A-bombs. We start dropping them? We can't. Why? Because they're allied with Russia. They got A-bombs too. So we just allowed the war. If we're dumb enough to do this, we've allowed the war to not go to thermonuclear. In which case, who's going to win? We're going to win in Korea. Without that, who's going to help us out? The UN? It ain't going to help us out. Help us out the first time. Think other European countries going to help us out? They don't have any militaries. You think the Japanese going to come help us out? Not going to happen. It's us. It's us. So this is why I worry about this. This is why I hope Trump can actually end this damn war. Because the longer this thing go on, the worse it gets. Brian says, Russia has no reason to agree to a ceasefire. They do, Brian. You are wrong. They do. As long as he can get a victory, yes. As long as Putin can say he won, yes. Jacob, you are on my side, my friend. I sincerely pray the Trump administration will bring this much-needed de-escalation between the conflicts between our nations. If not, I better prepare to just be a statistic. You and me both, brother. I really hope he can stop it. I really hope he can. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying I hope he'll stop it. Harris was never going to stop it. Biden was never going to stop this war, ever. They were never going to stop this thing. So, yes, I hope Trump can do it. I really do. And you might go, he can just stop it. There's a lot of people who want us to keep going. That's all I'm saying. A lot of people still want us to go. So, yes. Jared, thank you for being a member. From my understanding, Biden admin wants to escalate, so Russia has to respond against NATO. Yes. You're reading it perfectly. Trump will get bogged down and can't make peace. MIC doesn't want to end. Yes, yes, and yes. And that is my worry. You read it perfectly. My worry is Trump gets bogged down and can't end it. Mike Voss was on weeks ago. He's like, he's going to have a peace treaty signed by January. And I was like, no way. I said it's never going to happen. Now, I said he might have a ceasefire by the time he comes. That's possible. No peace treaty. No way in the world is there going to be a peace treaty by the time Inauguration Day comes. Will there be a ceasefire? Maybe. I hope so, right? I hope that there is a ceasefire by then, but there's no way it's a peace treaty. I'm with you, Jared. The military-industrial complex does not want this war to end at all, and they don't care who dies. They're apathetic. They do not care who dies. You are correct. So, I wish you were wrong, but you're not. So, yes. Mike says Russia doesn't want NATO on them. Agreed. This is the other reason, Mike, to bring up. There is a reason for Russia to do a ceasefire. End it now before NATO's involved. Get their victory. Putin goes back home, says, see, we won the war, blah, blah, blah. We saved the Russians, or whatever story he tells his people. I don't really care. He says whatever it is. He's all happy. We move on. Yes. But do you think this goes back to the thing that we just don't seem to get? America has become this kind of country that thinks that yelling and beating people works. And it just doesn't, right? The last election showed we don't want to be scolded or beaten. We just don't care. It doesn't work. So if you don't give Putin the Russians a way out, how do they leave? They don't. They don't. You put them in a spot to where, look, I'll say it again. If the British and the French are dumb enough or short-sighted enough to actually go ahead and put their troops in there, what's Putin going to do? Quit? I'm scared now. You win. I'm done. Never. Never. He will quadruple down and focus all of his aerial and artillery forces on unit annihilation. That unit destruction will be what he's going to do. Unit destruction. He will destroy as many French and British units as he can. It's what I would do, because when the French and the British come in, it will motivate Ukrainians to fight more. They will be great. The West has come. We are saved. And he knows that. So he must crush. It's what I would do. I would crush them. I would stop fighting Ukrainian units. I would just destroy British and French units with every piece of artillery, with every airplane I have, with every bomb I have. Annihilation. You send 3 units in, you send 2 home in body bags. That's all I would do, because that then destroys the morale of the Ukrainians. Of course you do it. So would I. It's the only smart thing to do. Well, then we're stuck, aren't we? We're at a point we can't return. There's no point of return. This is World War I starting all over again. Once the Serbians and the Black Hand and Princip kills the crown prince, how do you go back? How do you go back? It's a series that keeps going. No one can back out. This is my worry. No one can back out. That is my worry. Pinkabell says, AI Larry, take my money. Thank you, Pinkabell, for 3 months. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you so much. Peace Lodge, thank you for the $5. Can Trump just stop Ukraine funding? How bad is the money? Yes, I mean, in theory, he could, right? To be forward, can he stop it physically? Yes, PC can. But the amount of pressure he's going to get from the establishment is the issue. Will he get bogged down in that? What they'll do is they'll say, if you stop this, we'll stop that. If you stop this, we'll stop that. They will negotiate against him. So he'll want, for example, tariffs or something, and they'll somehow break him down on that because he won't do this. Or they'll somehow shut the government down, or he won't do this. Or they'll attack his people here, he won't do that. Or they'll agree to have some of his people get primaries, so he loses power in the Senate, whatever. Like they'll do those types of things, right? Now, I'm not saying he can't get around it. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying he can't push through it. He does have a lot of political power. He does. Mandate. Absolutely does. But it just isn't as easy. All I'm saying is the war isn't over in that regard. He's still fighting. So, yes, there we go. All right. Let me see if I can keep going here. IC says war, when old men lie and young men die. Accurate. Yes, absolutely. Lorenzo says, obviously, Putin wants reparations to take the money, rebuild just to reinvade Ukraine later on down the road. Maybe. I'm not sure if that's his goal, right? You got to think about it. He's also an older guy. He may be like, I've done my bit, next guy. I don't know. I don't know Putin in that regard at all. I don't know where his head is right now, what he's doing. I don't know. You may be right. But he may be like, I've done my bit. See, I'm a Russian hero. And next guy will make the next attack or whatever. So, yeah. Mike says, Zelensky will get a Mar-a-Lago. Yes. Kinzui says, carnivore is where it is at, Larry. Well, I am a keto, so almost carnivore. Almost. There we go. IC's with me. She goes, I need my broccoli and string beans. I'm with you, IC. I'm with you. Yes. I'm with you on that one. I agree. 100%. So, all right. Craig says, all gun control laws are racist. Great message by Matt. Yes, that's all the time. It is. For those who don't know, the origin of gun control was to keep guns out of the hands of former slaves. That's a real thing. The origins of gun control are to keep guns out of the hands of former slaves so they could still be oppressed by the white population after slavery was over. That was the entire goal of gun control. There was such a thing as gun control before. That wasn't a thing. Larry, you mean you could have a warship? Yes, it's called privateers. Literally, you could own a warship. Yes, you could buy cannon. Yes, that's a thing you could do. You could own a machine gun. You could. Yes. Second Amendment said you could own whatever you wanted. So private people owned warships called privateers. Yes, happened all the time. That was the norm. Not anymore. But yes, I'm not saying you should own that. I'm not advocating. I'm saying that's what it was. Yes. And then when did gun control kick in again? Black Panthers. Yes, Black Panthers. When the Black Panthers were saying, we don't want the government to step in anymore because it keeps screwing us over. We don't want all these legislation. What we want is to survive in our own communities, defend ourselves, right? Feed our own children, creating an actual community. And the FBI said, oh, no, what we're going to do is we're going to murder all your leadership. And again, I wish I was joking. That's a fact. I'm not making that up. Do your own homework. The FBI, literally, and the cops went in and murdered all of the Black Panther leadership, and then installed crazy gun control to keep guns out of the hands of Black people. That was the goal of gun control in the 1860s and again in the 1960s. So that's an accurate statement. That's what's always been happening. Here's the problem. When American government, I've covered this 1,000 times, but I'll cover it again right now because you brought it up. Americans, and no humans. Humans are not naturally racist. That's not a thing. They're not. Humans are naturally tribal. That's 100% true. But we can create tribes on all types of things. We can create tribes on the type of religion. We can create tribes on where we're born. We can create tribes on, cultural issues. We can create tribes on baseball teams we like. Whatever. We can create tribes on all types of things. It doesn't have to be race. Race is not a thing that we naturally create tribes on, right? If you remember, look at Europe before 400 or 500 years ago. They were tribes based upon their religion, tribes based upon the country they are, the king they were, whatever. They all same. They looked the same. They're all white people. Didn't change a thing. They still were tribal and hated each other. We're naturally tribal. To be racist, we have to be taught that, right? And government has to institute that. What is my example of this? Why were there segregation laws in the South? If people are naturally racist, there didn't need to be a law. People would just all be racist, right? But people aren't naturally racist. So they had to make laws to force us to be racist. That was the entire goal of it. So laws keep making us racist again and again and again. Gun control, same thing. It allows us to be racist. But we aren't naturally racist. We're naturally tribal. Big difference. Now, tribal can be bad too. I'm not saying tribalism is awesome. It can also be bad. But racism is something that the government decided. That wasn't us. That wasn't us. So anyway, P says, what do you think about Tucker, his interviews and his mission? What's the role and what do you think about him? Thank you for the $5. Thank you for the super chat. I think Tucker is similar in regard to, and I mean this in a skill way, to Rachel Maddow. What I mean by that, most of MSNBC cannot survive on its own. Rachel Maddow can. She's a talented storyteller. She's a good interviewer. She's a talented personality. She can leave and still do things that make sense. She can leave and still be powerful, right? She can still do it on her own. Tucker has proved he is even better than her. He can leave Fox News and still be just as powerful, as savvy, as smart. He's clearly a talented interviewer, a talented person. He's good at what he does. His role is just being himself, which is great. I think he's doing a fine job doing his own thing. And he is a, what's the word I'm looking for? He is a more credentialed, maybe that's a better way of doing it, more mainstream type of Joe Rogan, if that makes any sense. Right? Joe Rogan is not credentialed, right? He's not like some guy who comes out of some place with some big schooling. Or that's not who he is. He's a comedian, MMA guy who now has a cool podcast. No shade. Happy I was on the show. Want to go back on. If you're listening, Joe, want to go back on. Anyway, but I'm just saying when it comes to credentials, he's more of that. I think his role is fine. I think he gets people listening, people paying attention. He does have a worry though. And that is, there is a chance he can become less important if it isn't politics, right? Because he does have a specific, the advantage Joe Rogan has is Joe Rogan is kind of interesting, period. Rogan spends a lot more of his time. I'm sorry, Tucker Mills in the political view. So that is a worry he has. Hope that answers your question. But yeah, I think he's doing a fine job in what he's trying to do. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see here. Dave says, okay, following Germany's defeat in World War II, East Prussia was partitioned between Poland and the Soviet Union, according to Potsdam Conference. Pending a final conference. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Jared says, parts of East Prussia are in Poland. That's what I thought. Yes. Yeah. Mainly rural. Russia took the cities, Kaliningrad and Königsberg. There we go. So yes, I knew it was in both places now. I appreciate that. The homework, guys, do appreciate that. Yes, that definitely is a piece that one of the reasons why Germany is nowhere near as militaristic as it has been in the past is the militaristic piece of Germany was the eastern part. The Prussians were the military that America has now is built off the Prussian model. The general staff we put up was built off the Prussian model. Many militaries to this day are built off the Prussian model. Prussia doesn't exist anymore. The people have been destroyed. The country has been destroyed. It doesn't exist. Germany has almost nothing in Prussia left. Like Berlin is like the only part of Prussia that's even left in Germany. The rest of it is now in Poland and or Russia. And the people are destroyed. Many of them physically left, and the rest of them, they were graped without the G by the millions by the Russian army that came in. It was a horrible humanitarian embarrassment. And we allowed the Soviets to do Soviets can do no wrong in our eyes. And that's all because of the terrible president FDR was. I know some of you just want to vomit when I say that. But yes, FDR was a terrible president. And he was responsible for so much of the horror in World War II. So much of the horror. And because he would let the Russians do no wrong in his eyes. And so the Soviets were terrible. And he didn't care at all. So yes, another reason. So thank you for that. I know you guys are mad at you. Now I got to do why FDR was a terrible president. So yes. Sal says Prussia was northern Germany and northern Poland. Yep, that's correct. So I'm glad you guys give me all this stuff. I appreciate that. Yes. Mike Glacier, he goes, I agree with the World War I analogy. The real question is, why is Biden escalating as a lame duck when Russia has openly said they're willing to end this with Trump? My point exactly, Mike. Yes. Exactly correct. Yes. Why would we? He's trying to make it hard. Make it easy. Let's end this war. Let's end this war. Here's the problem. See, here's the thing, Mike, and you know this. I'm pretty sure go out you back, but let the audience hear this. If Trump actually ends this within the first 3 months, Biden looks terrible. That's why, right? And I know, Mike, you said it will be over by the time he takes inauguration. I said it would not be over by then. There's too many people who want this war to keep going. The establishment wants this war to keep going. So, yes, without question, I think the war there may be some form of a ceasefire, perhaps, by inauguration, but the war's not over. No way. But if he gets done in the next 3 to 6 months after he takes over, Biden doesn't look bad. But to my point, what if they bog him down with so many other things, with so many other threats and fights? The establishment holds Trump back, and he can't get this thing done in a year. Biden doesn't look so bad anymore. Biden does not look that bad. If Trump fails, and again, I'm not saying he will, but if Trump fails to end this war a year, during his first year, if he does fail, he will look bad. Yes, he will look bad. All right, Thomas. Oh, valid point. The Spanish Civil War prior to World War II was a staging and training ground for multiple countries. Thank you, my friend. You are exactly correct. People don't know this. I don't know why the Germans were so incompetent as to getting the Spanish to enter the World War II. If the Spanish had entered World War II, the Germans might have won World War II. It's that simple. They couldn't get the Spanish to enter, and they couldn't get the Turks to enter. This was the incompetence of the German foreign policy. German foreign policy was so incompetent. The Einsatzgruppen and all they're so incompetent. The Germans could have gotten the Ukrainians, if they would have given them their own country, to turn against the Russians in World War II. They were just so utterly incompetent in their foreign policy. For those who don't know, Franco took over Spain, 30 something. It was in the 20s when they were fighting the war. It was over by the 30s. Whatever, I'm not sure what year, 35, maybe 35, 34 in that area, whatever it was. Franco had solidified Spain. And it was a fascist state until the 70s. I mean, Spain was a fascist state until the 70s. So he actually won and just kept it and kept in power, right? For 30, 40 years, whatever it was. And the Germans helped tremendously. The Germans literally sent air forces in there. This is the way they got around it because the Germans couldn't have a military more than 100,000 people, according to the Treaty of Versailles. They could not have that many people. So they didn't have it. They sent their mercenaries to fight in Spain. And that's how they learned how to do air warfare, air bombardments. These were all done in Spain. That's how the Germans knew how to use an air force effectively, and the Allies didn't because the Germans were fighting in Spain. They now took that 100,000 people, they were all bloodied non-commissioned officers. So when you bring in other raw recruits, they have a non-commissioned and officer corps that knew how to fight. And their generals were all the lieutenants and captains from World War I. Erwin Rommel was a lieutenant in World War I. He wrote the book Attacks. Heinz Guderian was a lieutenant in World War I. He wrote the book Achtung Panzer. These people wrote these books from how they were fighting in World War I. And the troops fought in Spain. So you wonder, how could the Germans? It was a great army in World War II. They were all bloodied. You are correct, Thomas. That's exactly what happened. It's one of the reasons why they were so good. This is why North Koreans are fighting in Ukraine. It's why the Iranians want to fight in Ukraine. It's why the Israelis don't want those Russians and Ukrainians fighting in the Middle East. I wouldn't either. I don't want that army on me. I don't want that army on me. And the Germans knew how to use all the new stuff because they used it in Spain. The Russians know how to use all the new stuff, they're using it in Ukraine. Valid point. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a brilliant. My chat is brilliant. Thank you, guys. I love that. 1890 Jackie says, it's called gaining experience for the next war. WW3, yes. Correct. Jack goes on to say, North Korea can't invade South Korea without Russian and Chinese support. I would say only Chinese support. To be forward with you, Jackie. They don't need Russian support. Not required. They will get bloodied in Russia. They'll have financial and or other support through China. They will not require Russian support. Won't be required. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're not going to say no to it. Not required. If the Chinese are behind it, they'll be fine. They're totally behind it. So yes. All right. Mike says, North Korea never invades South Korea unless China is moving on Taiwan. They need to cover, but China won't until there's another weak president. I don't think, to be forward with you, I know this, Mike, you don't agree with me on this one. I do not think that China ever invades Taiwan. I don't. I think Taiwan capitulates without being invaded. I think within the next 10 years, 15 years, maybe at the latest, Taiwan accepts some form of one country, two government, whatever agreement with the Chinese to say they're still part of China in some way, they're special autonomous zone or whatever they do. I think China gets Taiwan through treaty, not through war. And the reason is the amount of damage that will be done to Taiwan in that war. I mean, it's if anyone's watched what's happened in Ukraine, oh my God. Oh my God. The Taiwan will just be, it'll be a desert. It'll be so destroyed. I don't see it happening. Now, again, we'll find out if I'm right or wrong on this one. I think they surrender through, they do what Hong Kong did. They create some kind of two government, one country, whatever rule, autonomous region, whatever. But then again, that allows Xi to say he won. See, Taiwan is China. I win. He can claim victory. He has united China. He is the greatest statesman of since, whatever. Since the first Chinese emperor, whatever. He's awesome. He gets the win. Nobody gets killed. And all that sea zone around Taiwan becomes Chinese, which is what they want. That entire sea zone becomes Chinese. 200 miles out, is that right? 200 miles out? 200 miles out of all around Taiwan becomes that. That's what I think happens. I do not think it's combat. I think it's through treaty. I think Taiwan capitulates in the next 10, 15 years. I can't, because at what point? The amount of damage is just crazy. That's just my view. I'm looking on Rumble and I see Straight and ask, where do you think China and India fit into this? I think India is in the best spot of it all. India is in the best spot of it all. India just sits back and takes whoever wants to sell them cheap energy. You got cheap stuff? I'm in. Cheap stuff? I'm in. Now, China and India have been, having border disputes for decades, right? For decades. They've been fighting each other on the border for decades. But it hasn't really been massive at all, which is good for them. But even if it is, so what? They'll get over it. They'll be fine. India and Russia aren't fighting much at all. Modi's not fighting Putin. You don't care. It's fine. Sell them cheap oil. I'll take some more cheap oil. If the Indians and Chinese can just keep it the way they are now, just kind of mad, a little bit flare up here or there, India will be fine. India's in the best spot. The odds of India going to war with any of them are slim to none. So, Straight, I hope that helps. I think India going to war is slim to none. Why would they? They have an educated population. They have more money going into their country. They can buy cheap energy. They have their own issues. They are the world's largest democracy. That's a big enough issue. Their elections takes weeks, right? They don't have infrastructure to support. They have a lot of work to do. India does not need a war at all. They'll be fine. If anything, they might go against Pakistan, maybe, but I don't even see that happening. I don't see it happening. Maybe they get involved in something happening in Bangladesh because of refugee issues, perhaps. I don't see anything else happening there at all. China is in a tough spot because of their economy. The Chinese economy is teetering on some problems. Can they recover? I think yes, they can. The question is, will they? If they don't recover, they have another problem. China's having a similar problem to us, and that is their people are unhappy. And you might go, why does that matter? That matters tremendously. One of the reasons why America is struggling, there are many reasons, obviously, but one of them is we're unhappy as a people. We are unhappier than we've been in a very long time. And Chinese are in the same spot. They're just not happy people. They're not in good spots. They're not having babies. They're not getting married. They're not having relationships. They're not building new businesses. Our entrepreneurship in America is struggling. The entrepreneurship in China is struggling. So they're not doing the cool things they're supposed to be doing. They're not happy. That's a problem. They're not buying what they want to buy. They're not living where they want to live. Same as us. Same problems we're having. We're both having these problems. So if they can fix that, good. If they can't, well, maybe we don't mind sending, 500,000 Chinese in North Korea to help them out in some way. Who knows? So that is my biggest worry with China. I think China is trying to build their Belt and Road Initiative, which I think for them does make sense, but they have a problem now. Well, they haven't figured out. They didn't go in with guns, which, again, not necessarily a bad thing, right? They're not. But they don't understand something. They also didn't go in with the IMF. So when China goes into some African nation and goes, hey, we're going to loan you some money and build some roads. And they go, love it. And we're going to build some railroads. Love it. Thank you so much, China. And we're going to loan you some money. Awesome. And here's the rules. if you don't pay us the money, we're going to take over the infrastructure. And African goes, great, sounds good, we'll do it. So they build up this big port infrastructure. They build a railroad that goes out to the mountains where you can get all the blood diamonds, regular diamonds, all the diamonds, and it drives right back to the port. And the African nation says, this is great, thank you so much. Oh, that money that you loaned us, yeah, we're not paying that back. We're just not. Well, no, you agreed. Yeah, we're not going to pay you back. But you're supposed to. Yeah, we're supposed to. We're not going to pay you back. Oh, well, then we're going to take the port. No, we passed the law. You don't own that port. We do. No, but we have an agreement here. We wrote down. Yeah, we made a law that agreement's not an agreement. But wait a minute, property rights. Oh, no, you're communist. You don't believe in property rights. Neither do we. We own it. Sorry, have a nice day. I wish I was joking. That's real. What are the Chinese going to do? Bomb them? That's what America does. That's why they listen to us, because we will bomb you. Like, you will give us the port, or we will bomb you. And that's why they don't make a deal with us. People are like, why do they make these deals with the Chinese? Because they can just blow the Chinese off. They can't blow us off. If ExxonMobil says I own that port, ExxonMobil owns that port. We're an African nation. We'll just bomb you. We'll just like send our commandos and just kill your people. CIA will just overthrow you. Like, you're giving us the port. That's going to happen. That's how America rolls. The Africans knew that. They're like, we're not. The Chinese came in and said, we'll do this. They went, oh, great. Yeah, you can't bomb us. Yeah. And that's happening now. The Chinese are now saying, wait a minute, but we thought we were going to own all these ports. And America's like, yeah, you thought that. Who are you bombing? Oh, you're not bombing anybody? You don't own anything. You don't own anything. If you remember that movie from years ago, it's about South African mercenaries. They say TIA. What does that mean? This is Africa. Different rules. And they knew. So the idea that China did to try to build roads was a smart move. That was a good move. It builds a lot of, positiveness. But when the Africans say, no, what are you going to do? The Chinese aren't prepared to invade. The Chinese are not prepared to invade. The Chinese are not prepared to sanction. What do you do? Sanction them? They have all the diamonds. They have all the minerals you want. What are you going to sanction them? Can't do anything. You're not America. Not how that works. America will just bomb them into oblivion, or just overthrow their government, or whatever, or come up with a reason why we don't like you anymore, whatever. Or we'll just fund your bad guys or whatever. That's what America does. So China won't do that. Anyway, I'm sorry I went a bit long on that, but I hope I answered your question at least. So yes. Let's see. Lorenzo thinks China's waiting to right move to invade Taiwan. I don't think so. Again, I think I'm going to be right in this one. We'll see. We won't know for a while, right? So if I'm right or not, we won't know for a while. But I think I do not see invasion at all. And the reason, one of the things Taiwan has that's smart is they make all those chips. You want to bomb all those chip factories? I don't. You want to kill that talent that knows how to make them chips? I don't. I want to buy it, and China will want to buy it. They write a check instead. I can bomb it, or I can write a check. I'm going to go with write a check because I still want it. So that's the piece. So, yeah. So Kim says, why did Biden give Ukraine long-range missiles? Wasn't that just some kind of to get even with the Trump BS? It's my point that I bring up, right? Mike and I agree on this one. If Trump fails to actually stop this, again, not saying he can't, but it is challenging. If he actually does fail to stop it in the next year, Biden will look like, see, I was right. Biden and all the Democrats will be saying, see, Trump said he was gonna, Trump couldn't, Biden was right the whole time, blah, 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 the whole thing. If Trump ends this in the first 3 months, Biden's gonna look terrible. Oh, Democrats look terrible. They don't want that. They're gonna look terrible. So yes, I hope that makes sense. All right, grab a couple more of these here. All righty. Peace, thank you for the $2. What do you think about Rob Schneider? I love Rob Schneider. Met him once at, where was it? Was it Florida? I forgot where. And again, and I met him twice. Briefly, like I just, hey, how you doing? Love his stuff. He's great. Big Rob Schneider fan. I hope he comes to more libertarian events. He's libertarian. He is. But he also loves RFK Jr. Absolutely, yes. So 1819 Jackie says, isn't Trump picking known war hawks and public health authoritarians again? He does have some war hawks. Yeah. But again, I go back to it. A lot of people thought that the second Trump wins, now the war's over. It's not. Remember, there are still establishment Republicans, Democrats in power. They haven't all gone away because Trump won. He's still fighting them. Not saying he can't win. It's not, he doesn't just walk and go. He's got to go back and forth. He's got to talk. He's got to give and take. Yes, absolutely. Craig says, provoked by Scott Horton just released 35 years of West taking advantage of the Soviet collapse and breaking promises or agreements, overloaded with sources, makes a great gift. Well, there we go. Perfect. Yes. Let's see here. Lorenzo says, you want to make it in a way where Putin can go home with some pride. Putin going home with nothing in the end is the end of his career in his life. Correct, Lorenzo. You get it. Yes. That's why he would rather not end the war. He has two choices. Putin doesn't end the war, or he ends it in a way where he can say that he won. You are totally correct, Lorenzo. He's got to go back saying that he won. Right? Otherwise, there's no way. Right. All right. All right. Mike goes, okay, there would have been a treaty. Okay, Mike's backing out now. But Biden then escalated, eliminating the option for no good reason. I didn't think Biden was that petty or stupid. It's not petty or stupid. Mike, they don't want to end the war. There's billions of dollars on the line. There's literally contracts with BlackRock and Halliburton. It's billions of dollars on the line. That's what, it's not stupid or petty. They know exactly what they're doing. They don't want to end it. And Trump wants to end it. This is why I said he can't do it. Oh, sorry, couldn't end it by inauguration. That's why I said he couldn't. I didn't know it would be this. I didn't know what it would be, but I knew it would be something. They're not going to just let it happen. That's my point. They're not going to let it happen. They're going to fight back. In their perfect world, Mike, they're going to throw so much stuff. And some people here, the chat said it. They know too. They're going to throw stuff at Trump and try to bog him down. Peace even said it, right? They're going to throw stuff at him and try to bog him down and hope that they can bog him down for at least a year. That's the hope. If this war goes on for over a year, if we're here at 2026, January, and they're still actively fighting, they've won. The military industrial complex won. And that's their goal. So did I know it would be this? I didn't know it was going to be this, Mike. I didn't. But I knew it would be something. There was no doubt it'd be something. And so it's this, whatever. But the next thing will be the next, whatever. They'll throw, as my other thing, they'll throw British troops in there or French troops in there. The French have been wanting to go in for months. The French threatened to go in, was it late last year? Late last year, they threatened to go in. Going to send French troops into Ukraine. What? They talked about that last year. The French go in? That's the worst one. Yes. Christine, thank you for being a member, Christine. Trump isn't worried about the government shutting down. He's going to execute his agenda. I hope that you are right, Christine. But the problem is, remember, there simply aren't enough non-swamp creatures in D.C. There's just not enough of them. So, yes. Dave says, Medvedev will invade Poland after Putin dies and NATO's abolished. That I could see, Dave. I don't think Putin himself is ready to go again. I don't. It took him 10 years from 2014 to go here or whatever, 8 years, whatever it was. Someone else, maybe, right? Maybe the next guy does. Maybe Putin becomes a puppet master, whatever, someplace else, but it won't be him. It'll be someone else, Medvedev or one of his generals or whomever. I'm with you on that one. I don't see Putin doing it anymore. I think Putin's done as a front man, I should say. Maybe pulling strings, maybe. But as a front man, I think Putin's done after this as a front man. I don't see it anymore. I could be wrong again, but look, I'm right in most of these things. Not always, but I'm often right. I think that if anything, he's a string puller. After this, his front man is done. Yeah. Pinkerbell says, war's the worst thing humans do to each other. You know why it's so bad, Pinkerbell? Because if I just were to go into someone's house and blow them up, or murder them or kill them, whatever the case may be, it's obvious I'm a bad guy. It's obvious I should be punished. It's obvious that I'm in the wrong. But the second we do that as war, it's justified. No one's punished. It's okay. It's fine. Right? So that's why it is the worst, because there's no repercussions. We never learn. We don't stop. Not a thing. I agree. I think it's the worst. I'm with you. I think it's the worst. Daniel says, member for 2 months. Thank you. Allegedly, China is increasing their amphibious weaponry and vehicles. It is true. Yes. The Chinese Navy is increasing and getting better. The Chinese U-boats, the Chinese submarines are getting better. It's true. But compared to us still, their Navy is just nowhere near, not even close to our Navy. But they are getting better. You're correct. They are getting more amphibs. But I think their amphibs are not for Taiwan. I think their amphibs are for Philippine and Vietnamese islands. I think it's for island hopping, because they're saying they own these islands where they don't. And if they gain Taiwan, that 200 miles goes out and will overlap with all the other people in that area, saying that they have that. It's really theirs. It's Japanese lands from Okinawa, whether it's it's all those. My gut says the amphibious is made for island hopping after they negotiate with Taiwan, because right now there is realistically, unless they are literally dropping A-bombs in the sea, there is no way, if America sees it coming, which America will see it coming with our satellites and everything else, there is no way they're able to make an amphibious attack on Taiwan. We would sink half their Navy in a matter of weeks. It would be horrible. I mean, we'd have the horrible losses also, but we would destroy them. I think they have 1 or 2 carriers. Oh, I think just one. They're making a second carrier, I think. We have like 14 or 12. We have over a dozen, right? Just carrier groups. All of ours are nuclear powered. Our submarines are hands down the best submarines on the planet. It's not even close. One submarine could destroy probably half the Chinese Navy. I mean, it's insane. And they don't have a deep blue Navy hardly at all. I mean, so yes, it is happening, but they're a decade away from coming even close. Plus something else. Navies aren't only built on technology. Navies are built on experience and also, believe it or not, on culture. It's true. Tradition, right? So they don't, that's not a thing in China. Chinese navies are not a thing. American navies are. And we took ours from the British. The British navies absolutely are, right? So it's, yes, but that doesn't mean they can take Taiwan. It's not I don't think it's a thing at all. I don't see it. But thank you for that question anyway. I do appreciate that. So yes. All right. Chaz says, racism is taught in school. Yes, absolutely. Yes, no one's born racist. I'll die on the hill. Yes, you are correct. Absolutely true. Yep. Lorenzo says, just learn dilutionary. Thank you, my friend. Every bit does matter. Please, guys, thank you for that. Yes. Ernest says, and curiously, Spain was not directly involved in World War II, though their leaders collaborated with the end guys in many ways. Well, they were fascists, right? I mean, they were fascists. There was that movie, that Spanish movie years ago, maybe 20 years ago, called Labyrinth. Very popular movie. And it was its setting is in fascist Spain. And the fascists are fighting the communists. And that's what it's about that. It's a setting in there. So yes, absolutely. And it's a failure of German foreign policy. If they had competent foreign policy, they would have absolutely had the Turks join on their side and the Spaniards. If the Turks and the Spaniards had joined in World War II in 1940, the Germans win World War II. It's not even close. The Spanish close off Gibraltar, which closes the Mediterranean. The Turks invade the Middle East, which crushes Egypt, which closes the Suez Canal. At that point, the Italians, the Mediterranean is a fascist lake. At that point, it's all it is. The Italians do whatever they want. The British have no empire. The Turks could move in to the Caucasus. There's no Stalingrad. The Turks would attack Russia. I mean, and the Spanish had a navy. The Spanish could have helped to fight, support the U-boats. I mean, control France, on and on and on. Could have defended Africa, no doubt. If the Germans had a competent foreign policy and it brought both Turkey and Spain into the war, they win World War II. But they win World War II before the Americans get involved. They win World War II before the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor. No doubt. So I think you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. So, peace. Thank you for the $10. We've normalized war. We are numb. We are crying inside. It tells you people are desperate to find a solution. We are all infected by a virus. Can we find a way out? You know, this is a problem of empire. And I bring this up all the time when I say America's an empire. When countries go to war, they suffer. When empires go to war, they thrive. Empires are always at war. That's why they're an empire. They thrive on war, right? America's always at war. Remember that we've been at war almost continually since when? I don't know, 19 something, right? We've been at war for at least 100 years, continually. When's the last time we declared war? 1942. We haven't declared war since 1942, yet we've been at war for the past 80 years. How the hell did that happen? Been at war for 80 years. Haven't declared war in 80 years. Not once. Last time we declared war was 1942. We declared war on Germany's allies, Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary. Last time America declared war. Since then, we haven't declared war once. We just go to war. Always. And we haven't won a war since 1945. We've either had a draw or a loss in every war we've been in. So we don't even win wars anymore. We haven't won a war since 1945. Last time we won a war. We haven't won a war since then. Not one. Right? Draws and losses. That's it. Not one win. So we don't even win wars anymore. How can you survive? Because you're an empire. British Empire, always at war. Chinese Empire, always at war. Roman Empire, always at war. Persian Empire, always at war. Egyptian Empire, always at war. If you're an empire, you're always at war. You survive and thrive on war. That's us. So can we get out? Yes, stop being an empire. That's the answer. That's what I've been saying forever. Get out of NATO. Get out of all these things. Stop being the police from the world. I know we still have to guard the trade routes. There's simply no Navy that can do it besides us. I know that's true. I get it. I'm not crazy in that regard. We have to. So we got the trade routes. And then that's it. Stop being an empire. And then we stop having to be at war. Maybe we require a Hadrian. I know I keep doing history on you guys, don't I? Hadrian built Hadrian's Wall, decided to stop the expansion of the empire, Roman Empire, decided to bring some peace to the empire, toured the empire, and just tried to become, he was a Roman emperor named Hadrian, who happened to like Greeks and wore a beard, which was a big deal back in those days. And he built Hadrian's Wall because he said, I'm tired of expanding. It's just destroying the empire. Let's take care of Romans in Rome. Let's do that. Yeah. That's what he was thinking. So that's the answer. Stop being an empire. So it can be done. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can go there. Christine says, Tucker has been the man behind the curtain and told the truth about it. He has more than once. Yes. He has more than, that's very true. He has more than once. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Andrea says, I had someone say we have to keep fighting Ukraine because Putin won't stop until he has Mother Russia back. I disagreed and said Putin had a red line and it was NATO and Ukraine. And the point is, you will see people who want us to keep fighting say two things, Andrew, that don't make sense. Number one, we have to make Ukraine NATO because then he won't attack. Okay. Second thing, if he takes Ukraine, he'll keep attacking, he'll attack NATO. Okay, wait a minute. You just told me that he won't go to NATO. No, he won't. That's why we need to make Ukraine NATO. Okay, if that's true, then once he takes Ukraine, he can't go further because that's NATO. Well, yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's NATO. Well, no. It makes no sense. Either he cares about NATO, that he won't attack NATO, or he will. One or the other. If he will attack NATO anyway, if that's true, I don't think that's true, but if that's true, it doesn't matter if Ukraine's NATO, then does it? He'll just attack him anyway. Or NATO is his red line. He won't go past NATO. Okay, in which case, why do we care? That back and forth makes no sense. I hear it all the time. And it's simply one of those things, both of those two things can't be true. So is that his red line? Maybe. All I'm saying is, Andrea, let's stop fighting. Let's stop fighting. That's what I'm saying. That's the issue that I want to get to. I don't want us fighting anymore. It doesn't make any sense. So, all right. Where can I go here? There's so many of these guys. I appreciate all these things. 1936 when Franklin, 36. Okay, I thought it was 34. Thank you, Andrew. I do get these things in my head, right, where they are, right, but I don't always get them right. So yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, 30. I thought it was 34, 36. I was close. The thing is, I try to go from my memory, knowing that you guys will always correct me if I screw it up. So I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Yes. All righty. Lorenzo says, I see what you mean now on foreigners learning how to fight a war. Yes, that's what I think, Lorenzo. I don't think it's being fooled. I think this is on purpose. Yes, I think this is really done on purpose. That's what I believe. Adrian says, good show. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. IC says, I motioned to a history book club, Larry. Oh, thank you. Dave says, Spanish Civil War, 36-39. There we go. 36 he took over. I thought it was 34. So yeah, I was off on that. But yeah, the Spanish Civil War ended up with, they were fighting back and forth since the late 20s, if not mistaken. If I remember right, they were fighting in the late 20s. Was it in Africa? Spanish Morocco? Maybe. I think that's it. I think they were fighting there at one point, and then everything began to collapse. So yeah, there were issues there too. So they had a lot of issues in that area. Let me grab one more. Lorenzo says drones with explosives. Drones with explosives and drones dropping grenades and kamikaze drones, suicide drones that go in and blow things up. Yes. Rick says Hong Kong lost their liberty. It's all mainland now. Yes. But remember something, Rick. You are correct. But it took 20 years. Yes. About 30, actually. About 20, 28, 20, about 20 years. 20, 25 years took. Yes. I think Taiwan had the exact same issue. The difference though is Taiwan's a whole lot bigger. That's the difference. It's a whole lot bigger. So will it happen? Yes. Look, Taiwan, in my view, is destined to go back to China. I don't see any way around it. Destined to go back to China. It's going to go back. Because the Chinese, unless, one exception, if the CCP actually collapses, if it does, right now I don't see that happening. But if that does happen, then I would say they may go, whatever new government takes over might go, not worth the fight. I don't care about that. I got my own issues. Leave Taiwan alone. Could happen in theory. If the CCP stays in power, they will take Taiwan. Gonna happen. And I think the Taiwanese know this. And they will do whatever it takes. If they have to bomb it into dust, they will do it. And they will take that dusty pile of rubble and call it China. It is an issue that is deep in them. The CCP, that's how, for those of you who don't know, at the end, China was in a civil war, late 20s. You guys will check with that one too. China was in a civil war late 20s. Japan invades Manchuria around early 30s, 1931, 32, I believe. I think the Mukden incident was 1931, if I remember. Mukden? I think it's the Mukden incident. I think it happened in 1931. Chinese invade. They start going to war against China. Japanese invade. They start going to war against China around 1931, 32. They start fighting in China. The Chinese eventually go, we got to stop this civil war because the Japanese are invading. They're taking over our cities. They're killing us. We got to stop. So the Chinese agree. Chiang Kai-shek, who is on the, in theory, Democrats, but not really. And then Mao Zedong, who is a communist, openly communist. Chiang Kai-shek was kind of democratic. I mean, ish. Anyway, so those two together, right? They decide to get together and they're going to fight the Japanese. And they do. And they push the Japanese out. We help out, obviously, whatever. The war ends. The war ends. They go, great, war ends. Back to war. They fight each other again. The communists take advantage and they win. Chiang Kai-shek loses and he packs his bags and moves to Taiwan and says, this is now China. All that whole big area, that's all areas in rebellion. We are the real China here in Taiwan. And that's why they used to call it Red China and China back in the day, back in the 50s and stuff. And then China, of course, Mao said, no, we're China. They're in rebellion. So that whole thing is still there. They care about that tremendously. So to your point, Rick, I think if the CCP somehow falls, the new government may go, we don't care. Fine, keep it. It's possible. But if the CCP stays in power, they will take China. They will take Taiwan in some way, shape, or form. They will absolutely do it. I don't know how. I don't know how. It's through treaty. And then 30 years or 40 years later, Taiwan will be part of China in any way, shape, or form. And that will just be as the older people who have a Taiwanese feeling as they begin to die off, it'll just become China. That's what will happen. So yes. All right. Chaz goes, they fight, but they agree not to use guns on each other. China and India fight each other with sticks and stuff. It's true, yes, and that's fine. That's good. Let them do it. Don't shoot them each other. I'm okay with that. Yeah, no worries. Yes. Yeah. Rick says, China wants to destroy the last vestiges of pre-CCP culture. True. True. Yes, absolutely. That's absolutely accurate. Peace, thank you for the $10. On Taiwan, what we're worried about is the incredible amount of advanced technology. Yep. We need to have that technology inside the United States, and then we won't be as worried about Taiwan. And we are trying to do that. I think we are. I'm not sure we're doing a good job of it, but I think you're right. We're trying to do it. If we can do more of that, then I think we'll be less concerned about Taiwan. Look, we have sold our enemies out many a time. We sell our enemies out often. There's an old libertarian saying, who's America's next enemy? Who are we funding now? That's our next enemy. So whoever we're funding now is our next enemy. There we go. So yeah, your point is well taken. That's what I'll say. Your point is well taken. So, all right, I'll grab some of this if I can. So Christine says, Trump had 4 years to plan, and he is a rock star cabinet. I think he'll be ready for the BS. I hope you're right. I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Midwest says, why could have just had Chase Alva? Because Chase Alva can't raise any money. He can't raise any. Look, I'm not mad at Chase. He can't raise the money. I said this every time. I don't know. Are you guys trying to trigger me all the time? I don't know. It doesn't matter. He can't raise money. It doesn't matter. Money matters. I don't like it. I'm not happy about that fact, but I know I got my ass kicked more than once, raising more than $500,000, and it wasn't enough. And what would have solved my problem? What could have got me over the hump? More money. I wish that was not true. Again, not happy about it. I'm telling you how it works. There's a certain amount of money you have to be able to make to be in the game, right? Doesn't mean that if you raise the most money, you'll win. I'm not saying that, but there is a floor. If you don't hit that floor, you're not in the game. You're not in the game. And if you're running for president, if you can't raise at least $10 million, you're not in the game. I'm not saying you're going to win, but you're not even in the game. If you raise 10 million, at least somebody might notice you. How do I know that? Gary Johnson raised 13 million. He was noticed. Wasn't he? But he was in the game. Like they talked to me. He was on TV. He was in the game. Wasn't going to win in the game. You can't raise $10 million. You're not even in the game. You're not even on the field. You're not even in the league. You got to raise $10 million to even be around. RFK Jr. raised over 20 million. He was in the game. In the game. Nowhere near. Why do you don't run for president? I'll run for president when I think I can raise $10, $20 million. When that happens, I'll be able to get in the game. So this Chase Oliver, stop. I'm not going to be mad at Chase. Just say, stop. Not even in the game. Jill Stein, not in the game. They're not in the game. And I'm not trying to be mean. It just is irrelevant. That's how this game is played. It's just how it's played. That's all, I guess. Anyway, so let me keep moving on if I can. I don't want to get all triggered and shit. So yes. All right. Pickerbell says, I just picked up a perfectly heart-shaped leaf that made my heart feel a bit better. Oh, that's good. I like it. Thank you for that. That's nice. That is good. So, let's see here. Gene says, not wars, police active, preventive stripes, etc. That's what they say, but yeah, they're kind of all wars. But yeah. Lauren says, I agree with stop being an empire. It's going to take a lot of work in doing that, plus mending bad relations with other countries. It is a lot. You're right, Lorenzo. It is not an easy task. To stop being an empire, it is a decade at least, maybe more, but at least, yes. Robert says Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, but Germany declared war on U.S. Correct. Yes, that's I bring it often. There's a trick question used often. I go, when did America declare war on Germany? And go, after Pearl Harbor. No, never did. Germany declared war on us. Absolutely true. Yes. Peace. Thank you for the $5 for RFK approval in the Senate. Is it legal to make stipulations that cripple him? Can they agree and just say F you when they're in office? Yes. Of course. The problem is that If you do that, you will have them fight. And here's what I mean by that. All right. They're going to make, that's going to happen. Peace is a smart move. What you're saying, it's going to happen. They're going to have to negotiate yeses and nos depending upon what he can and cannot do. Are there going to be certain senators who go, I can't vote. Yes, you're going to do this. And I get money from these guys. You got to stop. You can't go this far. Only this far. That's going to happen, of course, back and forth. Will they push back? Of course. Will some people, turn? Of course. But then there'll be repercussions. What would that be? Remember something, that in the American model, when a agency makes a regulation, it basically becomes a law unless Congress steps in. Congress can step in and go, that regulation, no, they can't do that. No. Congress can step in. Remember, when any group, any committee, any department makes regulations, they're treated as laws unless the Congress steps in. The Congress cannot, because Congress makes the laws. So Congress can say, that's not true. That's not a law. They can just do it. That can be done. So that's how they'll try to punish him. They'll go, those aren't really regulations. No, they're not. No, they're not. They'll try to do that. And they can. I don't know how it works specifically, but I know that they can simply say, that is not, we as Congress who makes the laws, we say that's not a regulation. And it's not. So they'll do stuff like that to them. That's how they'll work it. So, yes. Let's see here. 1819 says, maybe Taiwan takes over mainland China. In 1947, that might have been true. That's not true now. That's for sure. Yes. Andrea says, we find other countries with weapons, then we have to fight against our own weaponry. We literally replaced the Taliban with a more powerful Taliban. Yes, that's what we literally did. 100%. Yes, 100%. Liberty says, triggered and with Larry. Yes, I was triggered. Yes, there we go. Midwest says, I mean to rile you up about Chase. I'm not, I shouldn't be. You know what? You're right. I shouldn't be so riled up. It's just, I hear it often. Like I hear people often come to me and say, Larry, why didn't this? Why didn't that? And why I'm triggered this year, and I wasn't triggered before, is because this time, Midwest K, is I warned the libertarian delegates by phone, by video, and in person. I warned them all more than once. I said, if you don't pick Lars Mapstead and me, 3 things are going to happen. And I know because I'm in this, it's what I do. Number 1, whoever, and it wasn't just Chase, if they'd picked Rechterbald, same thing. 1, he won't raise even $1 million, and Chase didn't raise $500,000. Why? RFK Jr. was taking all the money, and so was Jill Stein. Jill Stein was a strict anti-war candidate, so the anti-war left funded her. Now, Chase was anti-war also, but nowhere near to the level that Jill Stein was. So she was going to get all that money. So anti-war money went to Jill Stein, and I warned them of that. Oh, the independents. Independent people want impact. Chase had no plan. Neither did Rechterbald. They were garbage plans. We're going to go over all 50 states. I've been doing 50 years. It never works ever. People don't want to give money to that. It fails. Gary Johnson raised so much money because people thought he'd get 5%. That's a goal. People thought I did too. Obviously, I was wrong. But in 2016, I thought he'd get 5%. So, of course, I got behind him. I was a surrogate for Gary Johnson. If you remember, I was in the news for Gary Johnson. I supported him. I stood in place for him in debates. I stood in place for him when TV shows, I was on TV for him. Because I thought he was going to get 5%. But Joe Jorgensen was going to get 5%, so I ignored her. She was a throwaway year too. She couldn't raise any money, and she was $3 million. That was still good, but that wasn't $10 million, which is what you need. And she had a crappy plan. 50 states, whatever, garbage. Chase and Rick won the same garbage plan. 50 states, they're not going to do anything. It was going to be a throwaway year. So they weren't going to get any money. The money was all going to RFK Jr. And it did by the tens of millions. Again, I was correct. I was correct that he wasn't going to raise any. Who would? I then said, now on top of that, you'll get nothing. You'll come in 5th. That's what I said. You'll come in 5th behind RFK Jr. and Jill Stein. Again, I'm on record. I have receipts of this. I said it more than once. I called delegates and I told them. I told them at the goddamn convention. And I did a video. This was going to happen. What are you coming? 5th. That's what I said. And I said the fighting will be legendary because we can't get them with our stupid culture wars inside the goddamn party. Lars Mapps is not part of any of the caucuses, right? No, we want to fight culture war. Everything I said happened. That's why I get so triggered, because I saw it. I saw it months ago. I warned them, and they still want to fight their stupid culture war. We're going to fight CLC against MC. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares. Nobody outside of us cares. We are irrelevant. Libertarian Party is irrelevant, and we made ourselves irrelevant because of our stupid culture war battles. So we fight our stupid civil wars for no reason whatsoever, and wonder why we're irrelevant. This is why. It's why I don't care. When we get someone who's going to be out there and make the money and bring some power, then it will matter. Why was Lars so special? Lars is independently wealthy. He would have brought $1 million of his own dollars and run away, and he had lots of wealthy friends who would have started a PAC and put tons of money in. Plus, I can raise money. I'm a very good fundraiser. If I had him and his plan, I need a plan to get at least one electoral vote, which actually could have done. We could have gotten one. How do I know this? Because it's what happened in Nebraska. We saw it. What I said was Nebraska or Maine. Again, I'm on record saying that. And Nebraska was in play. How do we know? An independent won it. Dan Osborne. Yes, independent could have won it. Yes, we saw it. I was right. We would have got one. We would have had gold on the map with Lars Mapstead. And better yet, he was already working, talking to RFK Jr. He knows Shanahan. They were already working together so that they would work with different things to get a contingent election. If RFK Jr. would have dropped out and gone to Trump, his team would have come to us. The money would have come to us. We might have got 5%. Trump probably still won the election, but we might have got 5%. We would have surely got at least one electoral vote and probably got 5% on top of it, because we would have got a bunch of RFK Jr.'s votes and his people would have come to us because we would have been independent running with him. Boom. Everything I said was right. Everything I said was true. I warned them. And instead of us getting an electoral vote and getting 5%, we got 5th place. Because COC is bad or Mises Caucus is bad. And nobody in this country gives a shit. It means nothing. Nobody cares. Except us internally. We're suing, one group is suing the other. Who cares? Who cares? We're not going to have 50 state ballot access unless I run in 2026 and get it in New York State. This party will not have 50 state ballot access again, as long as I live. Do you give a shit who sues somebody? What do I care? Nobody's paying attention anyway. It's internal stuff no one cares about. It means nothing. It means nothing. If I could run the LP all of a sudden tomorrow, the LP would do one thing. It would have no policies, no platform, none. Useless means nothing. A colossal waste of time, money, and energy. We should spend nothing. It would have a preamble, and it would focus on ballot access. Nothing else. Everything else is a colossal waste of time, money, and energy. Useless. And we spend so much time fighting over whether we're going to have a platform of X, Y, and Z. No one gives a shit. Nobody cares. Utterly useless. Throw it all in the garbage. Platform useless means nothing. Colossal waste of time and money. Get rid of it. Means nothing. And not just that. We're gonna have a resolution on X, Y, Z. No one's paying attention. It doesn't mean shit. Nothing. Useless. Get ballot access or shut up. That is my view. I think I'm done with my rant now. But anyway, Andrew agrees with me. He says culture was quite dumb anyway. Agreed. Yes. Agreed. Yes. So anyway, I hope I answered your question at least. Lorenzo says, Larry Sharpe, you must be a Virgo. I'm actually a Cancer. But yes. And people would say I'm more than a Cancer. So yes, there we go. Yeah. It literally says, Larry, if Dave Smith had been the nominee, do you think he would have dropped out to back Trump? Don't know if you caught his X space tonight. I did not catch the X because again, it's libertarian stuff I don't pay attention to. But it depends how much money he raised. To be forward, Dave Smith is popular enough to where he probably could have raised some money. Depends. This is the thing I don't know about Dave. He's never run before. So I don't know if he would have raised a lot of money or not. No shade on Dave. I don't know. He's never run before. Is he prepared to go to the people he knows to get the big checks? Is he prepared to go get a PAC to raise the money? If the answer is yes, then I don't think he would drop that because he would have been chock full of cash. If you're chock full of cash, you stay. So again, don't know. I don't know. Dave's never run. So does he have the ability to get it? Maybe he has a network. If he raised $10, $20 million, he stays in. If he didn't, if he would be more like some of the more common ones, then he'd have no money and he would drop out. That's what I think would be the answer. And again, don't know. He's never run, so I don't know how he feels about fundraising. But if he would have raised the cash, he'd stay in. Of course. That's the issue. So yes. All right. See if I go down here if I can. The AC says, speaking of stupid culture wars, I heard the other day that only 0.6% of the country is trans. Is that true? I don't know. There we go. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So pick a bell, also a Cancer. There we go. Christine says, the LP can't get out of its own way. Yes. Jack, is it possible for a libertarian to win in New York? It is possible, but let me be very clear about this. It is not even close to easy. And New York City, no. Is it possible for a libertarian to win a statewide election? Yes, it is, particularly in one specific way. New York State has an advantage that others don't have, and that is we have what's called fusion voting. Fusion voting is where you can be on multiple lines. So you can be a libertarian and still have the backing of other parties. So in theory, if you ran, say, as a libertarian, just if someone theoretically runs a libertarian, just somebody runs libertarian, and if the Republican Party says, oh, great, a libertarian, you can be on our line. So then you had the libertarian line, the Republican line, the conservative line, and perhaps say someone like, I don't know, Andrew Yang might give us the forward line. If you had 4 lines and you ran as libertarian, that would be winnable. But that's the only way. Now, that's not easy to do, but that could be done. You asked, is it possible? Yes, but that has to be the lineup for it to work. If you did it that way, it could work. Otherwise, it probably couldn't. Could a libertarian break 10% without it? Possible. Depends upon the person. I know this because a lot of Democrats hate Republicans, but they will vote for libertarians. I know 25% of people voted for me were Democrats. So it could be done. But again, it has to be, that thing has to happen, Jackie, for that to work. If it doesn't work that way, I don't see it working. So yes. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I hope I answered your question. So guys, I do want to, I haven't pushed this because I've been so busy yapping trying to make up for last Friday. I do want to ask, click the button known as like, if you would, please. If you haven't clicked it, please do so. I'm going to ask you one more time. The last time I'm going to bug you. This is the last day I'm going to bug you for it. If you want to help out my friend Maj, please do so. Head over to GiveSendGo/solutionary to help him pick up the Solutionary Center. He is trying to buy it. He has a match donor to match $75,000. Get him his last $150 so that he can buy the building. This would be a building that the Black Guns Matter would own, a Solutionary Center in the middle of Philadelphia, Liberty in the urban area. This is something we do not have much of, and it's just the beginning. If we can make this happen, it'd be great. Whatever you can give. $5, $10. If you're in a spot where you can give 100 or 200, please do so. If that's where you are, if you're not, $5 or $10. I'm going to match a bunch of it too. So how do I know what to match? Put in that memo. Larry sent me in the memo. Click that givesendgo.com/solutionary. Larry sent me to help out my friend. I know I'm always bugging you for money. I know I am. This time I'm bugging you for money for him, not for me, for him. But what I'm going to ask you for is something different. I'm not going to ask to bug you for that. I'm going to ask you instead to share this, to share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Follow me on Facebook. Click that button, the notification button, so you can be seen. I'm going to be having tomorrow, as I told you already, I will be having a members group here. They'll be here as my panel. Anyone can watch. Same as always. If you want to be a member, you can. Click the join button. It's $49 per month to be a member. You can see on the spot that I put on YouTube, whether it is the Sharpe Way or Larry Sharpe, either one. I'm going to pick 3 from there. I'll pick it tonight or tomorrow morning, and you will be on the show tomorrow, and we'll chat a nice, cool, easy conversation. Maybe tell some jokes here or there. We could do so. But either way, it's great. But no matter what, click the button known as like. Guys, I'm going to let you guys know. Let you guys go, I should say. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. right here, day before Turkey Day. I will see you all very soon. Oh, by the way, don't forget, comment right afterwards. Comment for Mr. Algorithm. Yes.